Okay, so get this. We've got some sources about Thai food, like taking center stage at the World Economic Forum in Davos.
Really? It's fascinating, isn't it? It's not just, a few spring rolls at some random side event.
Right.
This is Thailand, really making a statement with their cuisine.
Absolutely. We've got articles about this, like Thailand Reception, this whole event, and there's a foundation called Chef Cares that's behind it, and even some government initiatives. It seems like Thailand is really going all in on this whole kitchen of the world thing.
Yeah.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's break down what this reception is actually all about.
Right.
It's not just like your average dinner party, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
The World Economic Forum, this is where global leaders come together to discuss some of the biggest issues facing the world.
Mm-hmm.
So for Thailand to be hosting this reception, it's strategic.
Yeah.
It's a way to, stand out, make an impression, and really start conversations that go beyond just, the typical boardroom setting.
Yeah, it's like saying, hey, we're a major player here, and our cuisine is a part of that whole story.
Exactly. It's culinary diplomacy.
Okay.
Using food to really, build relationships and even shape perceptions.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Unpack that idea of culinary diplomacy a little bit more for us.
Sure.
What does that actually look like?
Well, think of it this way. A nation can use its own food traditions to create a connection, build goodwill, and even open up, economic opportunities.
Okay.
Food becomes a conversation starter, a way to share values and experiences that goes beyond language.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And who are the chefs behind this delicious diplomacy?
Well, the Chef Cares Foundation is leading the way.
Okay.
It was founded by Marisa Chearavanont, and they've brought on some really talented chefs.
Wow.
Chefs Jimpol Jangpre and Noor Somani Step are curating this menu, and both of them have really impressive backgrounds.
Yeah.
Renowned for both their culinary skills and their knowledge of Thai food heritage.
Okay, so we've got the setting, we've got the strategy, and we've got the star chefs. Now let's talk about the main attraction, the food.
Yes.
We've got sources mentioning a 17-dish menu that seems to really showcase the full range of Thai flavors.
Yeah, it's a real culinary journey. You've got your iconic dishes like pad thai, green curry, massaman curry, and of course the legendary Tom Yum Goong.
Yes.
But there are also some lesser-known dishes.
Okay.
Like mahor, which is a sweet and savory pork dish, and a really interesting take on khao and kai, which is essentially chicken and rice, but, elevated to an art form.
Yeah, they're really pulling out all the stops. Speaking of Tom Yum Goong, it's not just any soup anymore.
Right.
It's on that UNESCO list of intangible cultural heritage.
Exactly. It's not just an honor, it's a powerful statement about the significance of this dish and really all of Thai cuisine.
So this reception seems like just one piece of a much bigger picture.
Yeah.
Our sources mentioned Thailand's 5F Soft Power Initiative.
Yes.
What's that all about?
Well, that's the overall strategy. The Thai government has identified 5 key areas.
Okay.
Film, fashion, food fight, as in Muay Thai and festival. And they're using all of them to really enhance the country's global image and influence.
So they're using these cultural assets to tell a story about Thailand.
Exactly.
And food is like a central part of that story.
Yes.
Hold on, though.
Yeah.
What are the implications of this 5F approach?
Yeah.
I mean, is it just about like promoting tourism?
Well, tourism is definitely a factor, but it's much bigger than that.
Okay.
It's about positioning Thailand as a cultural powerhouse, a leader in creativity and innovation.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about building brand Thailand, on a global scale.
That makes sense. And they're not just relying on the government to do this.
Right.
I'm seeing CP Group mentioned as being involved as well.
Yes, CP Group is one of the largest Thai conglomerates.
Right.
And they have a huge presence in the food industry.
Yeah.
So their involvement really shows this collaboration between the public and private sector to achieve these goals.
So it's a real team effort.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like they're just sticking to traditional dishes.
Yeah.
Our sources mentioned some interesting additions to the menu, specifically Meat Zero and sustainably farmed rice.
That's a great point. The inclusion of Meat Zero, which is a plant-based meat alternative, shows that they are aligning themselves with those global trends in food innovation and sustainability.
It's like they're showcasing their commitment to the future of food as well.
Yeah.
And speaking of the future, there's also mention of this Master Thai Chef program.
Yeah, this program is all about training and empowering the next generation of Thai chefs.
Wow.
It's not just about teaching recipes. It's about passing down those traditions and, encouraging innovation within those traditions.
So they're ensuring that Thai cuisine can thrive and evolve.
Exactly. It's a long-term vision, investing in the future of Thai food culture. And, all of this stemmed from the Chef Cares Foundation's initial goal of just supporting healthcare workers during the pandemic.
Wow.
It's really remarkable how something that started as a simple act of kindness has turned into this ambitious, multifaceted initiative.
It really shows the power of food to not only nourish us, but to bring people together and inspire change.
Yeah.
This whole story has taken on a whole new dimension for me.
It is compelling, isn't it?
It is. This Thailand reception is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here in this deep dive?
No.
What else should we explore?
We've kind of touched upon the why, Thailand's ambition to use its food, for global impact. But you've also sent in some sources that really dive into the how. Yeah. And that's where things get really fascinating.
Yeah, you're right. One detail that I noticed was the involvement of Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra herself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not every day that you see like a head of state, so actively engaged in promoting a nation's food.
Yeah, her presence at the Thailand reception is really significant. In fact, she's going to be giving a keynote address.
Oh, wow.
Highlighting, how serious the government is about all of this.
So this isn't just some feel-good PR stunt. This is like a calculated move.
It is. It elevates the event, from just a showcase into a real platform for, diplomacy and economic strategy.
I see. And they're even going to be demonstrating how to prepare both a creamy and a clear version of Tom Yum soup at the reception.
That's right.
Why do you think they would choose to highlight those two variations?
Well, it speaks to the nuance and the diversity within Thai cuisine.
Okay.
It's like they're saying, look, there's more than one way to experience our culture, and we're open to sharing all of it.
Yeah.
It challenges any preconceived notions that people might have about Thai food being kind of, one thing.
Yeah, that's clever. Yeah. So we've got the delicious food, we've got these star chefs, we've got the prime minister's backing, and this whole soft power strategy.
Yeah.
But what are like the tangible outcomes that they're looking for?
Well, ultimately, they want to raise Thailand's global standing.
Okay.
They want to be recognized not just for their amazing food, but as a leader in culinary innovation and sustainability and cultural diplomacy.
And I imagine that boosting tourism is a big objective as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
By showcasing the best of Thai cuisine, they're basically creating this, mouth-watering advertisement for the country itself. Right. Enticing people to experience Thailand firsthand.
Yeah. It's like saying, come for the pad Thai, stay for the culture.
Exactly.
But it goes beyond just, attracting tourists.
Yeah.
What about economic impacts outside of just tourism?
You're right. Promoting Thai food globally also creates a demand for Thai ingredients and spices and even, ready-to-eat meals.
Right.
And this has huge potential to boost exports and create new opportunities for Thai businesses.
So it's not just about putting Thai food on the map. It's about putting Thailand on the map as a real player in the global food industry.
That's it. And the great thing about this strategy is that it's sustainable. That will benefit the country for years to come.
And this Master Thai Chef program seems to be a big part of building that legacy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
By training these new generations of chefs, they're not just preserving traditions. They're making sure that Thai cuisine can continue to evolve and change with the world.
Yeah, it's like planting seeds for the future. And, those seeds could sprout beyond Thailand's borders.
Oh, yeah.
What if graduates of this program, they go on to open restaurants in other countries and spread these influences even further?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
It shows, how much of an impact these initiatives can have. Thailand isn't just, promoting their own food, they're shaping the global culinary landscape.
And the impact goes beyond just the food itself. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
A dish like Tom Yum Goong, it tells a story about Thai culture and history and its relationship with nature.
Yeah, food is more than just food.
Right.
It's a form of expression, a way to connect with the place and its people. And Thailand gets this.
Right.
And they're using it.
So it's not just about selling a product, it's about selling an experience. Feeling a connection to something bigger.
You got it. That's what makes this strategy so smart.
Yeah.
It uses something universal, the power of food to bring people together and create those shared experiences.
We've explored the strategy, the players, the goals.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what can other nations learn from all of this?
Yeah.
Is there a blueprint here for them to follow?
I think the main takeaway is that any nation with a rich culinary tradition can use food to enhance, their global image.
Right.
It's about identifying what's unique about your cuisine.
Yeah.
And finding ways to share it.
It's about telling your story through, flavors and aromas.
Yeah.
Inviting others to experience your culture through taste.
Exactly. And it's not just about the food itself. It's about the stories behind the dishes, the traditions they represent, and the people who make them.
It's about creating an experience that goes beyond just eating. It's about sparking curiosity and fostering a deeper understanding of a culture.
You nailed it.
Okay, so Thailand is setting a pretty high bar here. But before we wrap up, I want to make sure we touch on one more thing.
Yeah.
We've talked about, Thailand's strategy and like the potential impact.
Right.
But are there any downsides to this approach? Could focusing so heavily on food as diplomacy backfire in any way?
That's a really good question. Like with any strategy, there are always, potential challenges.
Sure.
I mean, for example, relying too much on just one aspect of culture, even one as, appealing as food,
Right.
could lead to like oversimplification or even stereotyping. It's really important to make sure that that culinary narrative is balanced.
Right.
And that it doesn't overshadow, other important parts of Thailand's identity and contributions.
So it's about showcasing the full picture of Thai culture.
Yeah.
And not just reducing it to, a plate of pad Thai.
Exactly. No matter how delicious it is.
Exactly. Another challenge I'm thinking of is, authenticity.
Right.
As Thai cuisine gains popularity, there's always that risk of like cultural appropriation or misrepresentation.
Yeah, protecting the integrity of those traditional recipes and practices is going to be really important.
It's like walking that line between sharing your culture and making sure that it's not, exploited or diluted.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, safeguarding tradition.
Right.
It's also about navigating the complexities of global food systems. If Thailand really wants to be, a major player in the food industry, they'll need to deal with things like sustainability and fair trade and ethical sourcing.
So it's not just about how delicious the food is.
Right.
There's this whole network of social and economic factors that come into play.
Exactly. And that brings us back to, these initiatives like the Master Thai Chef program.
Right.
It's not just about teaching chefs how to cook. It's about educating them on all of these bigger issues and, empowering them to be responsible stewards of Thai cuisine.
So equipping them with the knowledge and the tools to really navigate the complexities of the modern food landscape.
Exactly.
Okay, well, we've covered a lot in this deep dive.
We have.
What's like the one big takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that food is much more than just something we eat. It's a powerful way to understand a culture, its history, its values, even its dreams.
Absolutely.
And, Thailand's use of its cuisine is a really interesting example of how food can be a tool for, diplomacy, economic growth, cultural exchange.
Yeah, it's food for thought.
Yes.
In the truest sense.
It makes you realize that every dish has a story to tell.
Yeah.
And every bite is a chance to connect with a culture.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Think about your own favorite dish from your own culture.
Yeah.
What stories does it tell? What values or traditions does it represent? Could it be, presented on a global stage like Thailand is doing?
That's a great question.
It makes you really appreciate the power of food to connect people. And, who knows? Maybe someday your favorite dish will be featured at the World Economic Forum.
Yeah.
Showcasing the richness and the diversity of your own culture to the world.